listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Hopefully my volume's up high enough. It sounds kind of funky. Test. I'm going to turn up a little bit up to 51 there. Test. Try that. See if that does anything. So again, I'll repeat what I said because I didn't have time to check to see if that was that, whether it was missed or not. So again, people have trauma that investigate crime. It's just part of the world they live in. How they deal with the trauma is different, based upon, the person. Sometimes they become alcoholic. Sometimes they use cocaine. Sometimes they, frequent prostitutes. So there is a certain level of dysfunction. And it does have victims at times, but it's not as victimizing as the other one. The other one is the one that we don't recognize as a problem because, they're just going after the criminal, quote unquote. But it turns out they're actually psychologically torturing people into crime. Maybe it's a way, again, it's a dysfunctional way, it's a mentally ill way, but it's maybe their way of exercising control over their environment because they've seen so much out of control trauma. But whatever it is, they should have been retired the first time it showed up. They're murderers. But so many people have gotten into it now because, hey, you can become famous, make a criminal, and then say, I made the criminal. It's this guy or this gal over here. You remember that's what they say a lot of times. I made the person. I mean, you're all marked. That's one of the slang words. I'm just checking him out. Oh, he's dead. They marked. I didn't see a thing because I didn't know anything. So in missing exploited children, they're definitely infiltrated. If Kroll and all that's going on, then they're infiltrated. So we look at what could it be? Are there manipulations that would not change a person? No. Because, again, we have to look at what is the length of time, what's going on in that person's life. I brought it up with the, remember the Islamic guy that was mentally ill in Kansas, I think it was. Was it Kansas, I think? And that was the white guy, I think, at the airport in Kansas. Where was that? Can't remember. Something in Kansas, I think it was. But it was a black guy. A young black guy, and he had mental problems. He had no friends in the world. I'm like, oh, they isolated him. I mean, this is what they're doing. Anytime you isolate somebody, anything, just isolating somebody could cause them to commit crimes, because that's what a lot of narcotics distributors and organized crime figures will play off of a person's inability to have a social life. But if you isolate the person, then you're causing that. First off, you're not allowed to do that. I'm telling you that right now. no matter what you say, because you've caused psychological trauma in a victim's life. But secondly, you leave them susceptible to things they probably wouldn't have been susceptible to had you not engaged in that activity. But then if you start offering things like, oh, camaraderie ship or camaraderie or something like that, because now you're a terrorist. And I said, by the time you get to the end of it, you could sit there all day and tell him not to do it. He's going to do it. Because the terrorist and the terrorist ideal is the only thing that's ever been friendly to that person for an extended period of time. Now, some of it I could say is the pressure of the stats. Believe it or not, stats exist everywhere. Federal agencies have stats. Just, this idea of what was his name, Schoolcraft and NYPD and all that. I mean, it's everywhere. There's, they have quotas. So stats are quotas. The federal government has quotas, believe it or not. They won't tell you they do. They'll say it's just stats, but it's quotas. But state government has it, local government has it. So the question is, what drives a person to that? Is it mental illness? Yes. No doubt. Does it help our country? No. This is the reason we have all this crime, because people are in the business of creating criminals. And they have, a thought, well, it has to be somebody that's a nice person because nice people are actually evil. That's what they actually operate. Because these wacko cops believe that nice people are actually secretly evil people, they actually torture nice people into crime. Don't forget, I spent 12 years in law enforcement before I had to retire because you almost killed me. And of course, I can sit here and work law enforcement on the side all I want without actually going over the line into law enforcement. So I see what you're doing. Actually, being a nice person and a hard worker in law enforcement can get you psychologically tortured into crime. It's that sick in them places. So again, I mean, you build a system that creates criminals and you have crime. Oh no, it's bail reform. The Republicans are the biggest liars on earth. They create criminals and laugh about it. You can just watch Trump and all them. They're some of us are spells, but it's also their operators. And that's why, again, I'm trying to caution Elon. Elon, you better learn how it works. If you start doing crazy shit, they got to take your money because your will is going to project around the earth and screw up everybody's life because you want to own everything inside. You want people to go your direction and approve of your direction. So they're going to take your money so you don't upset their apple cart. You can call it the establishment all you like. Republicans are like the biggest establishment thing that there is. Of course, Fox News is such a scam. Not even funny. But they're keeping you focused on something else. The Soviet Union came in and took over the Republican Party, and they're effectuating the Soviet Union. Now, they call it communism, but the Soviet Union wasn't really communism. It was cronyism. Communism might actually produce, cronyism can't. Because under cronyism, you can't get anywhere. Right. It wasn't necessarily the communism, it was most likely the cronyism. And the cronyism under Trump was causing that. Trump's actually lucky he didn't have to sit in there the last 4 years. Because there's a couple Trump bubbles that burst over the last 4 years. He was the one that stopped he actually reduced oil production, which when he did it, it wasn't a bad idea because, we weren't using oil or gas. Okay, so 3 police cars is the pattern. Is that the way you're patrolling now, or is that being done for my viewing pleasure? Second time, right at this location, I saw 3 police cars. Is that the way you patrol now? Oklahoma City PD? Or are you just trying to send some stupid message? Did somebody tell you your dupe was drugged today or something? I mean, I've seen 2, 3's a bit much, but maybe you come up with something. I don't know. Maybe you have a new system. Or you just like taking 3 vehicles past Hefner and what's that other road? I don't even want to remember it. MacArthur. The other pattern was one officer. As soon as I get near where I live, like a block away, one officer would drive by. Whoa. You're going in that gate and you turned into the right lane? Might be one of them. I didn't get to see the plate. That's one of their famous things to try to cut you off. You're not being the blue line by torturing people over you. That's just not how it goes. No, you're not keeping the community safe. I mean, we're a drug den. We used to be a church den here. I need to get some gas here somewhere. Oh, he's giving us the cold shoulder. He knows it's us. When you're in, guy, you'll get money now. I feel like driving around a little bit. So they have this mind that tortures somebody so that whatever they have within themselves, it's not just for suicide. No, it's not just for suicide. They go, oh, we're just trying to get the pedophile to commit suicide. That's what they tell them. And they're like, yeah, cool, let's all do it. Meanwhile, these are the pedophiles. They're creating pedophiles, and many of them are pedophiles. I didn't know there was a gate over there to get to the store here. That's interesting. I thought everyone would go to the store. So again, within you is the ability to stop yourself from committing crime. If they identify that within a person, then they torture that person. You'll go to work in the government, and you'll just think you have shitty coworkers, but when the execution gets to a certain crescendo, you look back and you go, oh, the whole thing was an operation to manipulate you in certain directions. But you still can't see it. It takes a long time. It's been, 30 years they've done it to me. But now I know what it all was. if you watch, one of the only places you can really watch it is pornography. But you can watch what they do. And they're sick people, man. You can watch people orgasm on command on pornography. But this is what these people are doing. And then once they get them to sexually climax on command, then they manipulate it to try to make it pedophilia or rape or something like that. That's really what's in law enforcement. That's really what's in intelligence officer. That's really who these private sector PIs are. The rest is just a cover story. That's really why they're millionaires. They're sick people, man. You'll all go to hell for it. Now, what the hell are you doing in the left lane? You know how somebody goes around, when they get close to the turning lane, they go into the median to get to the turning lane. That asshole went into the opposing traffic to get to the turning lane. And he's one of our favorite vehicles. They use Kia Souls. That's one of the vehicles they blocked me from. But there's a lot of them out there, so. Right. Actually, it isn't a Kia Soul, is that? What is that? Some sort of SUV. So what they do is they take whatever pornography they want you to view and they dump it at you. And they'll create an aversion to the other pornography. Or try to, at least. Again, this is all experimentation, human experimentation. They're experimenting on humans. Why is my voice changing? Because you willed it to. Devils. And they also experiment that way with the metaphysic. What can they make somebody do? They're sickos. They belong in hell. The sooner the better. Now, don't be physical. Don't act out. Just watch them become unglued as God destroys them. You know what? I already know. You don't have to tell me, officers. We've watched them come unglued for a long period of time. They might be on a special patrol. I don't know. Or they could be just messing with me. I'm not ready to agree that you're not crooks, okay? So they're engaged in human experimentation. And they've become unglued multiple times, is what they're trying to get me to say. They've become unglued the whole time, yelling and screaming and cursing about their victims and speaking about what they're doing, unspeakable things to their victims. And nobody ever did anything. So it's not like, oh my God, this is really going on? Oh, our officer's unglued? What do you mean? No, he's not unglued. He passed the investigation. Oh, fine. Oh, it's not the blue line more. See, the blue line says that we get to kill whatever officer we want to. Oh, that woman. I got to talk to that woman. That's why I got to go back now. Now, she's hard. I didn't want to knock on her door. I've never knocked on her door. I don't want to bother her, She might be one of them, so. Well, this woman, like when I had my what do we want to call that? My tizzy the other day. One woman came by, and she never looks at me. I'm almost positive she's part of it. And Yeah, she could be a state agent for all I know. But she never looks at me. She just is psycho around me. It's a form of psycho because I can read it. Okay, no matter what you think you're doing, almost you're causing an unstable environment around somebody by role playing. An unnatural, unstable environment. But she came by and she glances back and she gives me the dart. And I told this woman, and as I told her, she almost lost it. She goes, "Oh, I saw that woman and I've seen her. I think she's just odd." I go, "Well, sometimes I do things on the computer to see if they react to them." Not that I don't think you're pieces of shit and criminals and that you're going to hell for causing people to become pedophiles and murder other people, and you've murdered people with psychological methods and that kind of thing. But yeah, she came by and she kind of just looked back ever so. So I told this other woman about it, and she just like looked forward and went like, "Oh no," kind of thing, but like joking, laughing. Like she wouldn't have looked away. She just went, "Oh, that's weird." They're probably both agents or something, or work for agents or something. I'm gonna let you have all the fun of doing shit in my life like that. Because actually, I have to do it back to them, or they punked me out. So I'll tell you what, one of their guys in Santa Fe. They finally at the end, what they usually do when I talk about it, they force their guy to settle down with a woman. He was like 38 and she was 21, right? That was one thing. Like I'm supposedly having relationships with 21-year-olds. Never did. But they did. So he was like 38. The girl was 21. He finally settles down with it, but he's around like, I'm sure he had sex with 17-year-olds. I'm sure of it, if not 16-year-olds. He's one of their players, one of their role players. Now, I don't know if he's still with her or not. I mean, may have busted out. They're all over the place in Santa Fe, all over the place in Oklahoma. I'm sure these cops are having sex with kids. I'm sure they have a house somewhere where they have a couple prostitute minors that they all run off to on a Friday night. They're protecting the community, though. Sex trafficking everywhere. In Texas, they're like, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? She's up in Oklahoma. What's going on up there?" Oops, oops! They kidnapped somebody. We got caught. Quick, act like we know what we're doing. Get the males here. If I was a woman, I'd call it my female. I said, "My female's here," in protest. So I was really pleased with the Home Depot hitch pin that I purchased. The fella that rents the trailers, he's nice. But if I actually became a friend of his, they'd pay him a lot of money to be evil and get rid of me. It looks like it's going to get cold tomorrow. I got to take my. Oh, I forgot to put my. I actually have to go do something. How much gas do I have? I guess enough. I have to go put my real lock on my storage unit. They are cursing it so hard. I've been meant to do that like all day. That's the only thing that tells me they didn't get in my new lock, because they're cursing me from putting this one on so hard. That it mustn't be something they want. And then again, breaking into a lock in my apartment is different than breaking into a lock at my storage unit. Well, I mean, if they have somebody that's like a safe cracker, somebody that steals jewelry and shit like that, of course they can get into my stuff. I mean, I'm sure you're all affiliated with people like that. And Republicans are like, smash and grab. They're like, oh, I can't believe Biden's letting this happen. It's part of your deep state, or it wouldn't exist. They'd be arrested before they did it. I'll tell you what, the Republicans use people of color. They use, liberal people all the time. That's their favorite thing to do. Put them into some sort of crime where the Republican can make money from it. And they say it's the liberals. So temperature's already dropping. Tomorrow is supposed to be pretty cool, I think. I can't remember. I have to look. There's a couple more warm days, but I'm not worried. I only have to, I have these, like the Home Depot, Lowe's plastic shelving units. I have like 3 of those, big ones. Actually, one's small, which I use for the altar, well, narrower. I have them on stilts too, so you can get up underneath it and clean them. So. I got that. I got my bins. I got an air bed. So I mean, I'm getting light here. The thing said I had to bring my washing machine. That's one of the most important things you bring. You cannot do wash any place they expect you to do wash. Outside of your own place. And of course, just by accident, I mean, fentanyl's everywhere. Right. I got the big wave off. Where was that? I can't remember what city it was in. But I went to this one area to do laundry. It may have been, was it here? I don't remember where it was. I had to go somewhere to do laundry, and it was like, no, no, no. I think it was here. I think I did laundry once, like in Southwest or some shit. And it was like, no. I like going and healing people, so I don't mind going to, impoverished areas. I think I went there because they took credit card or something like that. And maybe I think in the end they didn't take it. I can't remember. So I'm sure it's cold in Kansas City, but at least I'm away from this junk. They start it up, I'll curse them off just as fast, if not faster. It's not going to, each time it's going to happen faster. Just to let you know that. I'll let you know that before I'll remind you. Well, first day you start some shit, I'll curse the hell out of you, and it'll affect you that day. How about that? I'm not physically violent, not at all. Never been. My ex-wife used to beat me up all the time, defend myself. I only once, like she was hitting me with her shoes. I grabbed her shoe and hit her back a couple of times. But I mean, I'm being abused, an abused husband. But being asleep, I didn't know to get out of it, Right? And she was like a witch. She did some stuff when I woke up, and I'm like, oh my God, she's got that stuff. Like she had incantations and stuff, man. She did. And I never knew it was real. I didn't know anything was real. She would say, "My money's my money, your money's my money, my money's my money," and I thought it was funny, little ditty. But here it's like a spell because I could see it at the end of my marriage. I'm like, "Oh my God, she owned my money." So that's also what they're doing. They're watching people. They're willing them to have sex with children. Me, I'm here healing all that. Been healing that for years, healing all sorts of things. Thank you, Larry. I got to try to get this lock on here. My big key lock wouldn't fit. I'm like, what? I mean, it's not huge. It's a master lock. It's a nice. It's like the bottom line of the nice master locks. It wouldn't fit. I'm like, what? What the hell? Not opening. Hang on. Well, when Russians are paying as much as they've been paying, I'm sure you all feel justified in doing what you did to people, whether you believe it's the Russians or not, or agree that it's the Russians or not. But like this time, I could take my trailer hitch off. You see? I mean, I'm not totally awake, not totally aware because you keep cursing me off, but I was able to take my trailer hitch off when I was done. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.